Morning. Monday, August 26th, 2024. I'm Larissa. Time's come to drink some skulls. Yeah. So, uploaded a little video I took last night when I came home after a day of moving stuff and then going out and having drinks and dinner in the new new business hood, right? We had good dinner and had nice drinks and had some nice conversation, and then come home to haunted house shenanigans. Yeah, yeah. So my house was finished in 1932. A man built the house all by himself, named Dan Bronow. It took him a number of years to build. So like he came in and cleared and built himself. And the house was started in 28. I think that's what we were told when we bought it. It was started in 28, finished in 32. It's not a big house, but this guy built it himself. And, like the windows, everything he made. All of the wrought iron on the doors and everything. Like he made all of that. And the house was supposed to be for he and his wife. And he and his wife were like opposites. She was tiny and he was big. And like short and tall kind of thing. And so there's some interesting proportions in the house. Like rooms are really ceilings are high, and there are, tall tall cabinets, but then steps are kind of short, kind of thing for her. So like there's some interesting attributes of the house, but the house is signed. So when we purchased the house, we're the fourth owners. Yeah, we're the fourth owners. There was the guy that built it, and then when he sold it, there was a couple that bought it, and they only lived in the house for a year. And then they moved out. And I'm guessing it's because of the house and the property have some interesting energies. And anyway, they were only here a year and they sold it. And then the family that we bought it from, they bought it, and they were here for 65 years. And after the mom died, then the house was sold in probate, and we bought it. So we bought it, and he showed us the signature on the house. Said that when they painted, or there used to be like another cabinet or something in the bathroom above the sink, and they took that down and they replaced it with this mirror. When they did that, they found the signature. Like they didn't know it was there when they bought the house, right? Um, so the house is actually signed. Last night I came home, and when we first moved in, the doors, so the upstairs, it's like a loft. It doesn't go the whole top of the house. It's just half of the house is upstairs. It's like a loft, kind of like a loft, but there's rooms that are closed off. So there's two bedrooms and a bathroom in between. And there's doors on either side of the bathroom. So from either bedroom you can walk into the bath. Those doors are solid redwood. I mean, they're really heavy. They're like almost 4 inches thick. And then they have these wrought iron latches that are stiff. It's not like they're loose, like they're really stiff. When you close the door's closed solid. And I guess it was a couple months after we'd been moved in. Those doors started opening and closing in the middle of the night, and it upset Brody. Um, and then they had done it a couple other times. We'd had people come in to help clean the house, and the doors did it a couple times while people were here cleaning the house. It's been a while since anything like that has happened up here. Um, but last night we came home and the mirror in the bathroom was laying face up on the floor, not in front of the sink. And nothing that was on the sink was disturbed. So, like, the mirror came up off the wall and settled face up on the floor next to the sink. Yeah. I guess we need to be reminded about Dan Brana. Yeah, I guess so. Mr. Dan Brana. I don't know. I don't know. There's other stuff in the house. I had something happen in the bathroom downstairs. It was shortly after we moved in, and the oven turn turns on and off, or turns on by itself sometimes. And it's not quite an antique, but it's pretty damn old. The oven we had the oven redone, refinished. It's a Merit stove, and it's like from 1945 or something like that. It's really cool. It's a double oven, really cool gas stove, but it turns on sometimes by itself. There have been a number of times when Omar's been like, "Did you turn the oven on?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Are you preheating the oven?" It's like, why would I preheat the oven to 200 degrees in the middle of the afternoon when I'm doing other stuff, kind of thing. So, we've woken up in the morning and he's gone down to make coffee and the oven has been turned on. Um, anyway, so there's stuff like that that happens in this house. There's been some other things as well, but it was funny coming home to that. But it reminded me, I worked in college. I had tons of jobs in college, so many jobs in college, sometimes all at once. Worked like 4 jobs at a time. So I had this one job. It was waiting tables. I waited tables a lot of places, but this I waited tables at this place called Giovanni's Italian Cafe and Bistro, um, owned by Tony Belisario down in Pontiac. And I was like the only waitress, right? It was a small place. Anyway, upstairs, his business partner, and it was Sheila, I can't remember her last name being with T. She was Welsh, um, like from Wales, Welsh, not like, oh, you know, like people say they're Italian in America, right? The heritage. No, she was from Wales. And the building that the restaurant was in was very, very old, and it had 3 or 4 stages of building on it, right? And so the oldest part of the building dated back to time of the Underground Railroad, and the building was there's a registry. There's a registry of stops in the Underground Railroad, right? This and it was like historically documented that this building had been used in the Underground Railroad. And the newest part of the building was dated to like 1940s, early 40s, late 30s, early 40s. It had this big spiral staircase that had the original railing that had all of this um, carved lucite um, rails. And it had this giant mirror that wrapped around the top, around the balcony, and then there was a turret out in the front. The In the Detroit area, you have a lot of deco, and then there's some Victorian architecture. And this had a big Victorian turret out front, but the aesthetic of everything was deco. So there's like this really interesting crossover, and that's because of the rise of Henry Ford and the automotive industry and the influence of industry on the collective aesthetic of design um, in the area. Anyway, upstairs there was stuff that happened in this building all the time when I worked there. Like at night when it was time to like clear off the tables and wipe down all the salt and peppers and clean them and refill them. There were the back 2 tables in the dining area on the bottom floor. The salt and pepper used to slide out to the end of the table at night when I'd go to collect them. And that was always crazy, like to watch them. They would just slide across the table down to the end. Stayed put all the rest of the night, but when it was time for me to clean them, they'd slide to the end of the table. And then, like, we come in, and one time we came in and all of the soup bowls were stacked floor to ceiling in the basement in the root cellar, in this root cellar room that was in the back. It still had the dirt floor and everything. Um, I mean, you had to go, the building was long, right? Um, anyway, down there was this room, and it was one of the rooms that was used in the Underground Railroad. There was a room that was upstairs as well. Another guy I worked for in town, Chuck Uzelak, he had his art studio in the upstairs room, one of the oldest rooms. So one time we came in and soup bowls were stacked down in that room, floor to ceiling. Really weird. And all of the knives were wrapped up in a towel and in the freezer that was also down there in that basement. Um, but there was this other time. So upstairs in the loft area, Sheila, the business partner, the woman from Wales, really nice woman. She had a tea house, and she did a formal high tea, and it was something that you had to make reservations for. It wasn't just open. She did a very, very formal high tea, with all of the classic snacks and everything, and the tea service, and she had all of these really beautiful antique tea sets, and decorating the walls were these antique silver tea trays, and the tea trays were all high polish, and these were things from her family and some that she had collected, but she told me that most of them were from her family. And the
Van pickup is 8 a.m.
oh, so I gotta get moving.
Um, yeah, I mean,
All right,
we can.
I'm gonna finish my tea and finish this ghost story, and then I'll get dressed. So we come in this one day, and she's supposed to have. It was like she had a reservation for a high tea, and it was a group from out of town. It was a business group because we used to do business lunches and stuff up there. Um, I came in and she was really really upset because, and this would happen not infrequently, when we would have reservations coming in. Came in and all of the tea trays were arranged on the floor in a circle with the mirror polished side up. It was wild. It was wild. She was really, really upset. We had to rehang everything really fast and get the place back in order because all the tables had been pushed up around the edge of the wall. It was so crazy. But that's what this mirror last night reminded me of, was all of those tea trays arranged in a circle on the floor, and came in the morning. Yeah. And we gotta go pick up our moving van, so I can finish moving. It's awesome. It's awesome, and I love it.